Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, November 29th. Dr. Vuong here with your quick COVID update. Everything is about Omicron, Greek letter O. We had in the United States Thanksgiving weekend this weekend, and all our numbers are screwed up. I mean, I would not believe any of these numbers. Like, didn't do testing, didn't do reporting, like all of Florida did not report. So missing entire state. So I think the numbers are heading up. If you live particularly in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, that's going to be the area to look next. New Jersey has gone up like 40% in cases in the last couple of weeks. New York City is already declared a state of emergency, kind of anticipating this next wave and Omicron. Now, what I said in my last video, which is this is a total major emergency. When was the last time, South Africa reported their data November 24th. The World Health Organization convened an emergency meeting on 2 days later on November 26th, made recommendations, and the evening of November 26th, countries were already banning flights. They've already shut down. So first thing I will tell you is that we are going to have a global shutdown, which might affect the markets. It kind of already did on Friday. We'll see what happens today, but we'll have another global shutdown. Now, why, Dr. V? Now, some people are sitting there saying, Dr. V, it seems like maybe Omicron is not as deadly, is not as virulent, milder symptoms, etc. I'm going to come back to that. Just time out real quick. So why do a shutdown? It's because we got to give the scientists and the researchers time to figure out what we're dealing with. So as much as possible, you want to try to contain a spread of potentially, right, deadlier form of a virus that possibly, well, definitely more contagious, possibly more virulent and deadly, and the worst thing, number 3, is possibly evade our vaccines, which we don't know any of that data right now, except for we're pretty sure it's more contagious. Okay, so we've got to give our scientists and doctors and experts time to kind of like chill out, see what's happening. Now, the next thing I want to talk about today is people sitting there going, well, Dr. V, I hear that the Omicron is not as has milder symptoms, so why should we be shutting down? Listen, it's way too early in the game. You're the same person probably who, like, your team is ahead 20 points in the first quarter and you go take a nap because you think the game's in the bag. Dude, it is way too early to declare. But I saw this report, the doctor who notified about the variant, says they have mild symptoms. Listen, that is one cluster. It could be milder symptoms because, they're just in younger people. One of her first patients was 33 years old. We know that COVID has a range of effects. It could be from very mild symptoms. Hence, that's what asymptomatic spread means. Like, you have no symptoms and you're spreading it, right? That's what it means. You could be infected and have 0 symptoms all the way to death. I mean, it's everything. So you can't declare right now that Omicron is milder in symptoms. You can't say that. We got to give the doctors and scientists time, okay? That's the first one. And what's going to happen in South Africa in the next couple weeks is really going to determine what's going to happen with this whole pandemic. Now, when Alpha in the UK, when Delta in India first came out, it was reported because these patients were having different symptoms. They were having more headaches. They were having more body aches. They were, I talk about this kind of like, I compare it to the early days. Who remembers freaking early days of the pandemic, right? And the early data out of China was like, oh, these are old 80-year-old men who were cigarette smokers. And people were like, see, I'm not an 80-year-old man. I'm not a cigarette smoker. Why are we shutting down? Open her up. And then it turns out, 5.5 million people dead later. It's just not the case. So we have to give this time to evolve. Now, let me take you to the last point for today's video. I don't need you to school Dr. V on the word endemic. You can go back to a video I shot probably August or September of last year of 2020 explaining the difference between a pandemic, and I said in the video, I'm going to teach you a new term, endemic. Endemic is mean that the virus is in the community. It just becomes a natural part of the cycle, kind of like the seasonal flu or seasonal cold, right? But I said, we're not there yet. It will eventually become endemic, but we're not there yet, okay? And then, oh, Dr. V, here's all these variants, alpha, beta, gamma, and now delta, we're endemic, open her up. I'm like, dude, delta is killing people, and they're getting younger and younger and younger. You cannot declare, open her up, I'm frustrated, I've had enough of this virus. Dude, the flu does not kill 780,000 Americans in basically a year and a half, dude. Like, it's bad. This is bad, all right? So, no, I don't care if you're tired or over it. It's not time yet. Now, if this Omicron turns out to be milder symptoms, then that would be the first step towards getting to endemic status. That's not a horrible thing. We just don't know yet. If you had this virus that was contagious, but it had milder symptoms, so that basically you're having a real bad case of the flu, but you're most likely not going to die. The death rate drops down to like what we're normally used to, 0.01%. You know, a bad seasonal flu, influenza death rate is anywhere from 50 to 80,000 Americans a year, and usually in the elderly or the immunocompromised population. If we had something like that with this Omicron variant, then we could say we're heading towards endemic status. And this is going to be one of those things where you either decide you want to get a seasonal coronavirus vaccination or not, but we are way too early in this game to tell. We need to be cautious. Just, do what you feel is right for you, but I'm telling you, I'm 49 years old. I really don't have comorbidities. I'm thin. I'm double vaccinated with Moderna. I wasn't going to get a booster. Now they've recommended boosters for everybody. So now with this Omicron, I might be getting a booster. And I might recommend that to Erica. It's a changing evolution. I think it's funny when people who are not in the science field, who are not in the medical field, declare that they already know what's happening or what the cases are or what's going to be like, or that this is milder symptoms and we're overreacting. And all the world's smartest people are like, we don't know yet. But it's the average person who seems to already declare that they know. Wow. Okay, buddy. Do what's right. Be safe. Consider getting a booster or vaccinated. That's what we really need, is to get more people on the fence to finally just say, I'm just going to get vaccinated and offer that level of protection. All right? So there you go. That's our latest. The world has shut down. Omicron is, everywhere. It's in North America. It's in Europe. It's out. So there you go. All right. See you next time. Bye.